evening. This is John Presco. Coming to you from Springfield, Oregon. I was cleaning some papers out off my drafting table so I can work on it. I found Rena's letter. And she addresses it Mr. John Gregory Presco with Rosamond in parentheses, spelled with an E. So she's aware of my blog. I believe I sent a copy of, when I contacted her through her minister, I made the mistake of giving a address for my blog, which maybe he eventually read and sent out a warning, to Rena that she's dealing with the devil. I don't want to laugh. This is not funny. None of it's funny. Maybe he thought there was a miracle happening, that we were reunited after all these years, 1971. And then he maybe wanted to share this with somebody in the church, and that person read more to my blog, and the flares went up. There's a little Christmas tree on the back of it. So, there's a lot of things that could have happened. A lot of things that Rena could have reacted to. But I can tell you when I found this letter, the full, beautiful, magical miracle I felt when I opened it up and saw this handwriting still exists. Everything else disappears. Everything else doesn't matter. What matters? Look at that. Huh. Yeah, there's an edge of this paper folded over. What struck me was her handwriting. They don't connect. Every little letter is sits by its own. And you see a little white out there. That's the second thing I knew or noticed. This is a perfectionist. I can't imagine anybody writing a letter with all these little letters sitting by themselves. There's some other whiteouts. When I read that her father was an alcoholic, whose abuse had severely altered her state of being and mind, done irreparable damage, and because I've attended adult children of alcoholics meetings, I knew that this is what adult children of alcoholics go through. They're so chewed up on the inside that they want to appear perfect in every way on the outside. We feel vastly inferior to everyone around us. No matter how beautiful, wonderful, talented, gifted we are, we're never at the top, we're never in the middle. They're down here at the bottom. But we try, see. We get glimpses of our perfection, talent, beauty, and we reach out. We touch someone. We don't trust people. Muse says she doesn't have any friends. She says that you'd be happy to know I've got some friends. Alas, it's a heartbreak. This was sent Wednesday, December 25th, 2013, 6 years ago, Christmas Day. She tells me she's married. But I can't imagine anybody finding the time to write a letter like this on Christmas Day with family in the house, even if it's just her husband. You know, what is this? You know, she lives up in this trailer at the top of this hill above their cattle ranch. Christmas Day, and doesn't she have a turkey to make? You know, dinner? You know, are they going to go out and go to town and eat at a restaurant? When did she start this? So there's this another white out there. And I cried when I read this letter. I cried before I read this letter. I cried on the way from the mailbox at 6:30 at night. When I saw it was from her. I believe there was another brown envelope with this in it. I think she maybe thought the letter was too thick or something. I'm gonna so what I want to do is record all this and read my letter back to her. But my camera's acting up. I don't even know if this is recording right now. Dear Greg, here I am. And that's a response to Anya's song, Where Are You This Moment? So she's read that. I guess I made a special log for her that I sent to the minister to give to her. Here I am. How to begin? Facts are always helpful. I've been married this time around for 14 years. My husband has some serious health concerns which are worrying for me, but which I can do nothing about. He has a small herd of cattle and does some farming, but I can foresee that his ill health may curtail or end these extremely arduous endeavors. We live in a small trailer on a hill and have dogs and cats. I have worked as a janitor for about 13 years now and worked at Macy's, the Salvation Army thrift store, as a restaurant hostess and Taco John's as well. I like work. I mean, this is the Royal Janitor. She danced for the Royal Ballet in England. I can't believe what I'm reading here. I danced professionally in England and taught dance and fitness also. I studied classical ballet, jazz, modern tap, and Pilates. I attended Academy of Washington Ballet, D.C., the London School of Contemporary Dance, and studied and apprenticed with Jason Alexander, former principal dancer with the Royal Ballet, London. I taught all dance classes at Mount State University, Bozeman, 1991 to 1992. And taught at the Mount Ballet School of Ballet. 12 years. I retired from dance in 2010 after undergoing radical total hip replacement. I'm reading this, see. I'm reading about two people that are disabled. One, to the point they can't work, and two, to the point they can't work. She can't teach ballet and get paid. Now, I'm reading about two cripples who've got this ranch with cattle. They've got a farm. And I'm just blown away. I am just absolutely blown away. Of course I want to help. Of course I want to come to both of their rescue. I had two children, Kathleen Ann, deceased, and James Easton, engineer. I'd been married 3 times. My second husband was an alcoholic, and the marriage ended after 2 painful years. I grew up in an alcoholic, troubled, and violent home, and was a battered child. See, I keep putting this out of my mind. It's the first time it's registered to me, and I've read this letter several times. And I was a battered child. I can't imagine anybody beating on this beautiful woman as a child or any age. And I was a battered child along with my brother Steve. My father died of alcoholism. I still struggle with the severe psychological consequences of repeated episodes of violence and emotional cruelty from my childhood. My brother disappeared in 1987, having shown signs of mental illness. There, done. Let's move on to the fun stuff, huh? You've seen pictures of her. I did this painting of her. She was beat up more than once, twice, 15, 16 times. Her brother became mentally ill behind this abuse, and he disappeared off the planet. And her daughter died in an accident when she was 21. Kathleen Ann Easton. So she says, on with the fun stuff, huh? Jesus. On with the fun. I mean, this is triage. I mean, this is like, you know, someone threw a hand grenade in this family and it's blown up. My dog walks are beautiful. Winter is beautiful. Life can be beautiful sometimes. The winter here is my friend. Out with my dogs, I spotted wolf tracks. They are here. It amuses me a little bit that I have become such a redneck woman. It amuses me a little bit that I have become such a redneck woman. These days I feel apprehensive about wolves instead of rapists. I drive a beautiful silver pickup, no bells and whistles. I am no longer young and pretty. I guess I'm something else now. I totally crush it at the gym, and sometimes I catch people looking at me with admiration. I am still slender and lithe, maybe a little bit tough. My son gave me my favorite compliment of all time. Mom, you're so badass. I have a million poems memorized. I can always gauge my highs and lows by my focus and my desire and ability to recite them whilst vacuuming at work. My mind can roam free there, but I do get ever so tired and bored, lonely as well. I have my boss, Raylene. She is very professional, very tough, but ever so kind. I enjoy manual labor. I enjoy being totally knackered at the end of my shift and then stopping in at Safeway or Barnes & Noble for a Starbucks. I enjoy feeling peaceful instead of afraid. I have felt way too much fear. I actually have a few friends. That is not easy, as I tend to isolate myself. No kidding. Greg, I want you to know, listen, I apologize for being an abusive girl when our paths crossed in 1970. I had come out of a dark and dangerous place, and you helped me. Please forgive me. No one deserves abuse. I have learned a lot now. I see you are quite left-leaning. Please do not, in your urban world, be too hard on cattle producers or redneck women. We are human too. You know, see, this is what I framed our fight around, see. So I didn't know why she called the sheriff on me. You know, so I focused in on that, you know. I mean, I isolate, I'm a redneck cowgirl, and, you know, don't judge me and my husband, the cattle producers, and we are human too. So I guess she must have gone not too far into my blog and maybe found out that I'm as critical. Must close. Presents to wrap. It would be nice to hear from you, but I must not embark on an affair of the heart. My husband would be very hurt and angry. I am sincerely yours. Rena. I am sincerely. She left out yours. I am sincerely. No, yours, Rena. And she continues. You will need to find someone else for the job position as resident Muse, but you can nominate me for the Muse Hall of Fame if you like. I never talked about us living together. So I again went into that, kind of looked at the whole letter, and, was she considering living with me? Was she considering what she's going to do if her husband becomes completely disabled or even dies? And that was there. She says, I'm very helpless over his medical condition. This is a person that doesn't reach out to anyone but me. So, my answer, I talk about, my truck, and I show her a plan of my new house. I sit around as a hobby and make floor plans and little houses and stuff. And, I have to resist making a left turn to Montana. And I wondered if that freaked her out, thinking that I'm going to come to Montana any day. And she didn't want that happening. She didn't want me driving up the windy road to the top of the hill on the trailer and have her husband shoot me dead. I mean, this is an incredible letter. Not too many creative people, writers, artists, poets, get a letter like this from their muse. And it's so packed with Americana. And that's what, she wants me to know. I'm the all-American redneck woman. I'm living up, a cattle ranch. I go to work and I recite poems for 8 hours when I'm vacuuming. She says I've committed 1 million of them to memory. And she gauges her mood not by her contact with people or conversations with people, her interaction with people at Starbucks. She uses her ability, her amazing memory, to recite poetry and not miss a line, not miss a word. No whiteout. If she leaves a word out of one of her poems at work, where she's lonely and bored, then she criticizes herself. Oh, I'm not in top shape here. I must have some kind of threat to my mood, to my carefully constructed mood and ambience that I've made for myself all my life. Let's see if this is running the camera. If it's working, it's probably going to shut off real soon. This is her poem that she wrote. All winter long, the reindeer in the courtyard nuzzled fallen stars. I watched them where they grazed and gambled and turned occasional velvet glances my way. Here behind the broken pane, ice incision, frozen sea where skaters etched their secret dance and crystals in myriad procession wince before the silver sting, blue sharp sever of their web, their gossamer glass. All winter long I watched the world through silver splinters, but now warm weather workmen come, bearing their final stratagem on their backs. One clean sheet, smooth and unmarred, that I may better view melting castles made of snow. Rena, March, 1971. Thank you, Rena, for this beautiful, beautiful letter. My dear friend and lover and companion, and my great muse. You always will be. It's my dying day, an inspiration to me. I love you. Have a wonderful coming year. John Gregory.